Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, first of all, you have to know why we need cloud. Okay. So anyone having any knowledge about cloud, why we need cloud, what is the advantage of cloud technologies and all? Okay. Basically, cloud, like in English, you know, what is the cloud? Cloud is something we are not able to view what is there in it, right? It is something like we are not able to touch also. So similarly, here also cloud is something like we can host our systems or our applications over there, but we are not able to view it. Like before cloud, you need to know on-prem technologies. Like, do you have any knowledge about on-prem? On-premises. Like, for example, you want to develop an application, let it be a web application. Okay. So for that web application, what you need? You need some technology, right, to develop that web application. So for that, what you need some development machine, right? You develop your application using that web technologies and all. After developing that application, if end users want to use that application, you have to host that in web server, right? Then only people are able to access the application. So like that web server is nothing but your infrastructure, right? You need that infrastructure. If you have that infrastructure, then only you are able to host your application over there and people are able to access your application, right? So like in companies before cloud technologies, like what they are going to do is like they are having on-prem systems. Like what they are going to do is they will buy some server like with configuration hardware configuration like CPU, like how much memory they need, what is the RAM. With that they will purchase that machine and all. Okay. So and they will maintain it in their building. Okay, with the LAN connectivity and all. Okay. So for that, what exactly the company need to host that application in their on-premise? They need web server, LAN, networking, and everything, right? So, for example, like if I want to do all those things, that will add to my project budget, right? Like I am having some X amount of budget. Okay, so I need to adjust everything like server cost and like that networking cost and other like whatever I need. Like for example, I need operating system also. Like even if I purchase hardware and all, right? I need some operating system also, right? Like Windows, Linux, all. So I need to purchase license. Like without license, you are not able to use your operating system or Visual Studio or anything, right? Also, I need to spend some amount on licensing and some amount on networking and some amount on purchasing that hardware. So everything I need to do upfront, right? So like that means it's adding cost to my project. Like my project budget is less, I'm not able to accommodate all. Then I need to think about like what infrastructure I have to purchase and all, right? So instead of that, what you can do is that is like before cloud. So before cloud, everything is on-prem. Okay. So companies are maintaining their infrastructure and everything on their own. So they need to go with upfront costs and everything. And also like they need to purchase license and like if they want to upgrade something like operating system, every time we will get patches and all, right? So everything they need to take care of. So all infrastructure overhead they need to take care of. Okay, so the advantage of cloud is like here I explained few points. Like exactly what is Azure means. Azure is one of the cloud provider. Okay, cloud is nothing but what they are going to do is they will maintain that infrastructure bill. Like they will have some data centers. Data centers are nothing but some kind of buildings. So they are going to maintain all the infrastructure in that buildings and they will provide that infrastructure to the companies on rent basis. Okay. Like what rent basis means, like for example, I am using that machine for 1 month. Okay. For testing or development purpose. So I can pay rent only for that month for that machine. So it will reduce my cost. Okay. So because I'm not paying everything before, right? Because like whatever I am using, I am paying. I am not paying like to completely purchase that machine infrastructure and all, but I'm paying rent. Let it be like you want to purchase some flat or some house, right? What you will do, like if you want to purchase some flat or house, then you have to pay everything for that, right? Like it will cost some around 1 crore or something like that. Instead of that, if you rent it based on your requirement, then you will like reduce that cost. Like you will go with some 30K or something like that, right? From 1 crore to that. So that much of difference is there. Like if you purchase it completely or if you rent it. So that's why we need this cloud. Okay. So Azure, Microsoft is one of the provider for Azure. Okay. So Azure is nothing but that is a cloud. So Microsoft is the provider for that Azure. Okay, like that you have AWS, which is provided by Amazon and Google Cloud also. So now, like in this course, we are discussing Azure. Okay. So I think you understood what is the difference between on-prem technologies and cloud. Cloud is something that is maintained by the provider. The infrastructure, everything will be under the control of provider like Microsoft or Amazon or Google. As a user or customer, no need to purchase that entire infrastructure. You just like go and ask for rent depending on your requirement. Okay. So that's how you can reduce the burden of like budget and all upfront costs, like when you are going with cloud. So any questions in this? Like whatever I discussed till now? Like you understood, right? What is the on-prem and what is cloud?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here, like coming to cloud, like I already told, like data centers will be there. That is nothing but physical buildings. Okay. In that they are going to maintain infrastructure and all. Like they will maintain systems, like so many systems, and in that they will create virtual machines and all. So what we are going to do is we will go and rent that those things. Okay. So for that, actually we are having some web application kind of thing. That is nothing but Azure portal. Okay. So everything we can do with Azure portal. So I will discuss how to log into that Azure portal, how to create subscription and all. So before that, we will discuss why we need cloud and what are the benefits and considerations of cloud services. So first one is high availability. So anyone having any knowledge on this high availability, this term high availability, anyone knows?
Ma'am, like there is no downtime.
Yes.
It's available at any time.
Yes, correct, exactly. So high availability means the application is available for 24/7 and it is available for 100%. Okay, so like if you don't go with cloud technology and if you are using on premises, this high availability is something little complex. Why? Because like you are going to maintain that machine in one region, right? In one building, right? So in that building, because of some power outage or some connectivity, network connectivity issues, that entire building are like the systems, the machines which are there in that entire building is not working, are not available. Then you are not able to provide application to the users during that time. That is not available to the users till that issue solved, right? So like if you go with cloud, like they are having different data centers in different regions. Like for example, if you take US, right? In US, you have East US, West US or something like that. There are so many regions, right? They will maintain regions. So in each region, they are having data centers. Okay. So in each region also, they are having like multiple data centers. So for example, if you want high availability, then what you are going to do is you will create virtual machine in one region and you can pair that with another region. Like you can maintain virtual machine in one data center, that is nothing but in one building, and you can maintain another virtual machine in another data center. That is nothing but another building. Like if any problem occurs in one data center or in one region, then we will redirect the traffic to another region, like another virtual machine which is there in another region. Then there is no downtime, right? Because even if any problem occurs within that data centers, you are redirecting that traffic to another data center. So the application is always available. That is 100% or 99.99% the application will be available in cloud. Okay. So, but if you want to go with this high availability, you should have corresponding license. Like you are having different kind of subscriptions like basic, premium, standard and all. Like if you are going with this production, right? Like for test and development, like even if it is not high available, you are fine because that is lower environments. You are using those environments for development and testing purpose. But whenever you are going with production workloads, right? Because end users are using and they are paying for your application. Like the application will be available to all the users because they are paying, right? So for production workloads, you should maintain 99.99 or 100% availability. So for this, you should have corresponding subscription. Like Microsoft is giving different kind of subscriptions, one for day one testing and one for production workloads and all. So if you have into that subscription, then what it will do is it will maintain different virtual machines. You can maintain different virtual machines in different regions or data centers so that it will be highly available. So actually how Microsoft is going to guarantee that your production workload is highly, hello? 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 Are you able to hear me?
You're audible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, actually some power issue from my end. So like you are able to see my desktop, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So like high availability is something like you are able to achieve that for production workloads using cloud. Okay, so for that, how Microsoft is going to ensure that they are providing high availability for the application because you are paying to Microsoft via subscription, right? So like if you want to maintain high availability, you will be in like premium subscription or like most costlier subscription. So if you are paying to Microsoft to ensure that your application is highly available, like what Microsoft is giving SLA, Service License Agreement. Like that SLA for this premium and other higher subscriptions are 99.99%. That means they will ensure that your application is 99.99%. If they are not able to provide high availability as per that SLA, Service License Agreement, they will refund your money back. Okay, that assurance Microsoft is giving for your cloud service, Azure. Okay, so that is high availability. Any questions in this? Like actually to achieve this high availability, we are maintaining different virtual machines in different data centers in different regions. Okay. So coming to, but in on-prem, you don't have that kind of setup, right? If you are maintaining infrastructure on your own. So that's why cloud is better than on-prem. That is one of the benefit that you can look at cloud. Okay. Scalability, elasticity, and agility. Okay. Scalability in the sense, like, for example, I am having one application. Okay. I hosted that application in one virtual machine. So whenever you are getting one virtual machine from cloud provider, for that you are paying, right? Rent you are paying, right? So for that rent, like if I go with lower configuration, like for example, like CPU cores are less and my RAM storage is less and SSD storage is less, like I am going with lower configuration because I don't need like sophisticated VM. Why? Because my application doesn't need that much of configuration, high configuration. Okay. So like I'm going with virtual machine, which is like having medium or average configuration, like less CPUs or less cores in the CPU, and also like RAM is less. Like that I am taking because I don't need to pay higher rents for that, right? For that VM. So I'm going in that way. But actually, sometimes my application requires to handle lot of traffic. Let it be, for example, like I am working on some e-commerce application, okay, like Amazon or some other e-commerce application. So sometimes based on season, like Amazon Prime, they are giving Amazon Prime, right? On that day or some other days like Thanksgiving or Black Fridays or Christmas, some other days the traffic will be very high because like there are so many discounts on the products. So most of the users will hit my application, right? So whenever that hit rate is more, like my server is in a position to handle that, right? So with less configuration, I am not able to achieve that because I don't have more cores in CPU. I don't have that SSD, and I don't have like required configuration to handle the traffic. Then what I have to do? Because normal days, I am not expecting that much of traffic. So I went with that configuration, right? But peak hours are some days like the traffic is more, right? So what I have to do is I can scale up my virtual machine during that time. Like you can create some rules in your Azure, like where you can scale up your machine depending on your requirement. On demand, you can scale your virtual machine. Okay. So that is scalability. So this scalability you can do in two ways. One is horizontal scaling and another one is vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling means like you can add more virtual machines to handle the load. Like you can maintain one load balancer. Whenever the traffic is more, then you can redirect the traffic to n number of machines. Like you can maintain some 3 to 4 virtual machines. So whatever virtual machine you are having, for that you can add more virtual machines. That is horizontal scaling. That means you are scaling it in horizontal manner. You are adding more virtual machines to handle your load. Okay, and coming to vertical scaling, instead of adding extra machines, you can upgrade your one machine. Okay, whatever machine you are currently having, that machine upgrade also you can do, hardware upgrade. Like you can increase number of cores or you can increase your RAM capacity. Like that hardware upgrade also you can do. That is vertical scaling. So you are having two types of scalings, horizontal and vertical. So that is possible in Azure based on the demand. So if your traffic is more, like if you want to scale your machines, you can do it on demand. But this is not possible in on-prem, right? But here you can do it within seconds. Like you can trigger some rules, like whenever traffic reaches this much, like there are 1,000 requests, or there are 10,000 requests. Whenever there are 10,000 requests, increase my CPU cores from these many to these many. Like that, you can create rules also, and you can trigger that automatically. Whenever your request reaches 10,000 for that machine, then it will auto scale your uh, hardware, okay, for that machine. So that is possible in Azure. So that is one of the best consideration and benefit that will come with Azure. So high availability and scalability. I think all of you are clear with what is high availability and scalability that is provided by cloud services, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Elasticity means elasticity means like it will expand and it will like compress, right? Same way, like depending on your requirement, either you can scale up your machine or you can scale down, or you can scale out or you can scale back. Scale up and down comes in vertical scaling. That means you can increase your hardware based on your demand, and you can decrease your hardware if there is no demand. So that you call it as elasticity. Okay. And also in vertical scaling, you can, horizontal scaling, you can scale out. That means you can add extra machines to your virtual machine, or you can remove those machines. So that kind of elastic nature is there for your cloud services. So that's why you call it as elasticity. Okay, that means you can scale up and down, or you can scale out or scale back, vertical and horizontal scaling. And agility. Agility means like quickly moving like from one state to another state, right? So you can move your machine like from one configuration to another configuration very quickly. So that is agility. So scalability, elasticity, and agility. These are the other benefits that comes with cloud. And another one is fault tolerance and disaster recovery. So fault tolerance means like in case of any fault, like your network, it might be because of your network, or it might be because of failure in your machine hardware, or failure in network. So any fault tolerance. So that is also fault tolerance means in case of that scenarios also, like in case of network failure, or in case of other faults, or in case of any other issues or failures, your application like your machine, like you are able to handle that also. That is fault tolerance. Like how you are going to achieve this fault tolerance is like availability zones. You are having zones. Okay, so with that zones you are able to achieve this fault tolerance. Zone means like within one region you can have multiple zones. For example, if you take one city, right, in that city you have different locations. So what you are going to do is like in that city only, your city is nothing but some kind of region, and in that you have multiple locations. You call it as zones. So zones are nothing but within the same region. So you can maintain your virtual machines or data centers within that zones. So region is top level. Within region you have zones. Within zones you have data centers. Okay. So in the data center, you are creating one virtual machine, or you are using one virtual machine in one zone. Like you can pair that to other virtual machine which is there in a different zone. So the advantage of that is if any network failure occur, then you can go with other zone virtual machine. So that kind of pairing you can do. Not only network failures, sometimes like your virtual machine is going for some upgrades, software upgrades, right? So whenever you are installing some patches and all related to operating system and all, right, you need to restart your machine. Whenever you are restarting your machine, your application will not be available, because you are just restarting that machine uh, to like take advantage of that the patches and all, right? So during that time also you can use the virtual machine which is there in other zone if you make it as redundant. Okay, so that kind of fault tolerance you can achieve using cloud technologies. So there is no complex what you call configuration is not required. Anyone can do that with simple steps using Azure portal. Okay, within seconds or minutes. And disaster recovery. So disaster recovery means like, for example, if you go with US, there is one region like Florida, let it be. Like in East US or some region, you have one data center, Florida, in Florida. Okay. So whenever some disaster, like there is some floods and all, right? So like whenever that disaster occurs, like you can maintain virtual machine in a different region which is far from this region. So whenever any disaster occur in this region, you are safe because you are already maintaining that redundant server in another region which is far from this region. So you can ensure that your business continuity is there, because like it is available, still available, that application is still available because you are maintaining redundant server in a different region which is very far from this region. So like that you can achieve business continuity in case of disaster recovery too. So clear all these points till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So economic benefits of the cloud. Right, like already we discussed what are the economic benefits of cloud. Like upfront costs are not required, right? You no need to purchase entire infrastructure, right? So that is economic benefit of the cloud. If you are maintaining on-prem systems, on-prem servers, then you have to purchase that entire infrastructure to host your applications and all, right? That incurs more cost. But whenever you are going with cloud based on your demand, you can take virtual machine or anything for rent, and you can use that machine like depending on your requirement, and you can go with pay as you go license. Like you can reduce the cost incurred for your infrastructure. So that is economic benefit of the cloud, economic benefits of the cloud. No upfront costs are required to maintain your infrastructure. So these are the benefits and considerations to go with cloud technologies. Okay. So high availability. So already we discussed what is high availability. The application and the system it uses are accessible to the user. You call it as availability, right? So like you host that application in one system. If that system is inaccessible, then your application is also inaccessible, right? So the application and the systems it uses are accessible to the users. So you call that as availability. So why application might be unavailable means because of network outage, there is some issue with your network, or application failure because your application is failing to handle that request, because of some exception, runtime exception, like you sent one request with invalid data or something which you did not handle properly in your application. So that's why, because of your application failure, your application is down and you need to restart your web server because of that exception. So in that case also you can redirect your traffic to another machine, right? So that in case of application failure, your application is unavailable. In case of network outage, it is unavailable. And system outage, like your machine, right? If there is any problem with hardware in your machine, then also your application is not available. That is system outage. And power outage, because of power issues also your application might not be available. And database failure, like backend, right? Whenever you are like requesting for some application, it should have some database server. So in case of database failure also, your application is not available. So for this, all these things will be handled in your cloud. Okay, that is high availability. And scalability, elasticity, and agility also we discussed. I already discussed what is horizontal scaling and what is vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling is something like you are adding extra virtual machines, additional resources, okay, to your thing. Like scaling out or horizontal scaling adds additional resources. Vertical scaling means you are only in your machine, you are adding extra resources. Okay, scaling up or vertical scaling add more powerful resources. Like configuration you are making, high configuration you are going for in case of vertical scaling. Easily scaling based on application metrics. I already told, like whenever your application request, like traffic reaches 1,000 requests, right? Then I want to upgrade or I want to go with vertical scaling. That is nothing but your application metrics. Okay. Depending on number of requests and other metrics, you can scale down or scale up your machine. So easily scaling based on application metrics is called elasticity, and it provides agility for your application. Okay, that is scalability, agility and elasticity. Fault tolerant and disaster recovery also we discuss. Like you can monitor and react to unhealthy resources. Like there are app insights in your Microsoft Azure. You have one feature called app insights or monitoring services. Like those services, what it will do is it will monitor your resources, because everything is under Microsoft control only, right? So whatever resources are nothing but your virtual, it might be your virtual machine, it might be your web application, anything you can call it as resource. So like all the resources are available in your cloud, right? So whenever you go with that cloud, like those resources, there are some services, monitoring services. So using those monitoring services, you are able to check your resources health condition, like everything is going good or any issue occurs in any resource. All those things you can easily monitor. Okay, so that monitoring services are available. So whenever you are monitoring that services, if you found any unhealthy resource or if any resource failure, then you can move that resource to another resource. That resource might be your VM also. Okay, that anything you can call it as resource in your Azure. Okay, once a resource fails, you can move to another resource. Let it be VM. If VM fails, you can move to another resource. So how to predict that VM resource is not working and all? You are having monitoring services in your Azure. Okay, in case of natural disaster, we should have a BCDR plan. BCDR is nothing but business continuity and disaster recovery plan. So you should have BCDR plan. How you can ensure your business like proceeding successful or smoothly in case of disaster recovery means like you need to maintain redundant servers in different regions. Okay, that is also possible. So economic benefits of cloud, already we discussed. On-prem model requires capital expenses. So on-prem, whenever you are going with on-prem, you can call it as capital expenses. Capital expenses are nothing but upfront cost. Like if you have some capital, then only you can run your business, right? So this infrastructure and all also comes into that capital expenses only. Because if you want to own your infrastructure, then you need to spend some capital on that. Okay, so whenever you are going with on-prem, you call it as capital expenses. Okay, so because physical computer hardware expenses for upgrading, repairing, everything you need to take care. If you maintain some physical computer, right, you need to take care of upgrading that machine and also repairing and also network infrastructure. And also you need some building also for rent, because where you will keep that machines, you need some physical location also, physical building also, like that is nothing but storage areas for the server racks and also all this is nothing but your capital expenses. Whenever you go with on-premise model, you will need that capital expenses. Okay, so benefit of cloud model is rent. So instead of going with capital expenses, you call it as operational expenses, operating. Whenever you are operating, you are paying that, but you are not like paying that upfront, right? So you can call it as operational expenses. So benefit of cloud model is rent computing resources from cloud providers like Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, and shift the expenses from capital expenses to operating expenses. Okay, capital expenses is for your on-premise model and operating expenses is for your cloud. That is the economic benefit of cloud. Like you can shift from capital to operational expenses. Use only what you need, a consumption based model. Like depending on my requirement, I can go with resources, right? So that is consumption based model. So whatever you are consuming, only pay for that, not more than that. Okay, so that is consumption based model. Okay, depending on your requirement, you will go with those resources and you will pay rent for those resources. That is consumption based model. So these are the benefits to consider a cloud, or why we need cloud means these are the points, discussion points for this. So any questions till now? Hello,
No, ma'am.
you are good, right?
No one. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so category of cloud services. So whenever you are going with cloud services, there are three categories. One is infrastructure as a service. Service is nothing but like they are providing some kind of service to you, right? So that service might be any of these three categories, your cloud services. So whatever service you are taking from cloud, that falls in these three categories. One is infrastructure as a service platform as a service, software as a service. So what are these three categories I will explain. Infrastructure as a service. So like I am running one software company, right? So for my company, what I need infrastructure. Why I need infrastructure? Because I develop one product, I need to host that product so that end users can use my product. So for that, what I need infrastructure. Infrastructure already you know, like your machines, billing, networking, and everything, right? So with cloud, what you will get is with VM, virtual machine, right? VM is one of the resource that comes under infrastructure as a service because you are taking infrastructure, virtual machine, right? So with VM, virtual machine is nothing but that will run on your physical machine. So on top of your physical machine, you can create multiple virtual machines. Like for example, like in one machine, like I am having highly configured machine, like the configuration is high for that machine. So on that machine, I can create multiple virtual machines. The name itself is saying virtual, right? Virtual machine. So physical machine is nothing but your machine. On top of that, you can create virtual machines. Like for example, like your operating system, hardware, everything will be shared with your physical machine. Okay, that is virtual machine. So what Microsoft will do is Microsoft will create different virtual machine. They will maintain some physical servers. So in that physical servers, they will create virtual machines and they will give rent, like rent out that virtual machines to the users. So that is infrastructure as a service. Like VM is the best example for infrastructure as a service. So what is the advantage and disadvantage of taking that service is like they are giving only virtual machine, right? So you will get some virtual machine, you will remotely desktop, you have already remote desktop connection and all, right? So by using that remote desktop, you will log into that virtual machine. After logging into that virtual machine, what you need? You need operating system, right? So operating system license and all you have to wear. And whenever there is any patches, like operating system upgrades also will be there, right? Like whenever operating system upgrades or patches are there, that you need to take care of all those things. Like manually you have to install those patches and manually you have to do everything, upgrades and all. So that is one disadvantage of infrastructure as a service. Why? Because they are giving only virtual machine to you and remaining all you need to take care of, like installation and what you call licensing. Like for example, you are developing one .NET web application, right? For that you need that IIS web server. So you have to install web server. You need to install your database server, and you have to pay for that SQL licensing, and you have to pay for this operating system license. And whenever there are security patches, you have to identify and install those security patches in your machine, and you need to take care of everything, right? Only infrastructure they are giving. So that service is called as infrastructure as a service. That disadvantage of that one is like more overhead is there on the user. Like user needs to take care of all the things like licensing, updates, patches and all. So but what is the advantage of infrastructure as a service is like uh, flexibility. Like you can install whatever operating system you need in that virtual machine. For example, like for my requirement, I am having some requirement for Windows latest version, and also I need some IIS version. Different permutations and combinations you can do, right? Operating system you can take depending on your requirement, and like softwares also, like if I want to go with the .NET Core, like in Windows operating system with the .NET Core combination, or I can go with the Windows operating system with some ASP.NET traditional web application, like older versions of .NET. Like depending on my requirement, I can choose whatever I want because I'm having only machine, but I don't have any softwares. So that is the advantage of infrastructure as a service. More flexibility is there for you to choose what operating system, what .NET, everything will be in your control. But the disadvantage is overhead on the user. Okay, that is infrastructure as a service. Platform as a service means like they are not going to give VM, they are going to give platform to you. Platform in the sense like VM they will give. On top of VM, they will like install your Windows operating system and everything will be there. You call it as app service. App service is one of the best example for platform as a service. App service means like everything they will do for you, like predefined operating system will be there and predefined version of your .NET will be there. Like you have to select what kind of operating. You can create app service directly in your Azure portal. You can go and create app service. So whenever you are creating app service, what it will ask for you is like what kind of operating system you want. So they will give one drop down list. In the drop down list, whatever operating system versions they mention, you are able to choose only those operating system. That means flexibility is not there. Platform as a service, app service. Okay. So whenever you are going with app service, when you are creating, you have to choose your own operating system, but there are limited versions of operating system available for selection. Like what Microsoft provides, those operating system versions only you are able to select. After operating system, they will ask for what kind of .NET version you want to use. And again, they will give one drop down list. That means the selection, like you are not able to do your own selection. What is there predefined, that only you can select. Okay. That is platform as service. That best example is app service. So you can create app service. On that app service, you can host your web application or web API. So to host your web application and web API, you need to select what operating system, what version of .NET and all. That selection like is limited because that will be given by Microsoft. There is no flexibility. But what is the advantage of platform as a service means they are giving platform to you to host your applications, right? So platform as a service advantage is like less overhead on the user because operating system license cost, no need to pay. You have to pay only for app service. So that app service comes with your operating system, your .NET and your web server, everything like will be under Microsoft control. They will give that platform. You can concentrate only on development. No need to worry about infrastructure. No need to worry about your infrastructure setup and all. You have to concentrate only on your development so that like you are not taking much hectic work or nothing, right? Because no need to configure anything. Just go develop your web application and deploy that in app service. Pay for that app service. Okay. So your updates, installation, and everything will be taken care by Microsoft. That is platform as a service. So example for platform as a service is app service. The third one is software as a service. Okay, software as a service means like now I am using Microsoft Outlook, right? And I am using Office 365. That is software as a service. That means that software already developed and you can use that software to meet your requirements. But that product will be limited to some functionality, right? You are not able to extend your functionality because you are not developing there. They already developed that software and they are giving that as a service to you. So the software as a service comes with complete software like Microsoft Office 365, where you are not able to customize or extend your functionality depending on your requirement, but you can buy and use that products. That is software as a service. Any questions on category of cloud services? Hello? Hello?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Oh, right. So these are different categories of services: infrastructure, platform, and software. So shared responsibility model. So what is this is like IA like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. These three are different categories of cloud, right? So whenever you are going with this responsibility, shared responsibility model, like the pyramid, like more control to less control. So below bottom of your pyramid, more control will be there. Top of your pyramid, less control will be there. Why? Because like infrastructure as service, already we discussed it, right? More flexibility is there to you because they will give only virtual machine. Remaining all will be in your control. So more control will be there in IaaS, right? And whenever you are going with the platform as a service, right? Like shared responsibility model means you are sharing your responsibility with cloud provider, Microsoft. Like in infrastructure as service, what responsibility you are like sharing with Microsoft is giving hardware to you, virtual machine. They are giving machine, right? Only that responsibility, giving that machine to you is the only responsibility you are sharing with Microsoft. So that is shared responsibility. Like you are sharing your responsibility with your cloud provider. So like infrastructure as service, shared responsibility is like giving that virtual machine that will be taken care by your cloud provider. And what is the responsibility of user means like maintaining that operating system and all other things will be responsibility of the user. Okay, that is IaaS. And whenever you are going with platform as service, like they are giving machine and they are giving softwares and everything. So what you need to take care is you have to take care of your application deployment, and whenever there is any error occur or exception occur in your application, you are responsible. So their control is there, and like with Microsoft, but only to provide you the platform. But application development is in your control. You can develop your application whatever manner you want to develop, and you can give that to the users. So here control is there for your application development, but not on the platform. So you are sharing that responsibility, platform responsibility to the Microsoft, and application development responsibilities on you. Okay. And whenever you are going with software as a service, like already that software developed by that cloud provider and you are directly using that product like Office 365, there is very less control on that product for the user, and Microsoft will take more responsibility on that product. Okay, that is shared responsibility model, like sharing responsibilities between you and Microsoft or cloud provider. So infrastructure as a service, right? So for this you have Azure virtual machine. So I will show how to create a Azure virtual machine, how to subscribe to this Azure and all. Okay. So here just like grasp what that internals are. Okay. So here Azure VM, like you can go with RDP into VM is possible, less time to create more control whenever you are going with infrastructure as service. Like you are having this kind of portal. Here you can directly create your virtual machine with mouse clicks, and you are able to RDP into that virtual machine. And like it will take only 1 or 2 minutes to create your virtual machine. Okay. For that you need active subscription with Azure. So platform as a service, already I told like app service is there, right? So here also with the mouse clicks, you are able to create your app service. Whenever you are creating your app service, right? Like it will ask for subscription. Like already if you subscribe to your Microsoft Azure, that subscription key will be there. You can give that one. And resource group, I will tell what resource group is. Like resource means like virtual machine is one resource, app service is one resource, everything in Azure, you call it as a resource. Okay. So a resource group is something like, for example, I am creating one web application, right? So that web application involves multiple resources. One of the resources VM, or one of the resources like app service. Like I am directly going with platform as a service and I have chosen app service. So that is one resource. App service is one resource. Virtual machine is one resource. So virtual machine is the resource comes under infrastructure as service. App service is a resource which comes under platform as a service. So I am going with create resource, and in that create resource I am going with app service, right? So whenever I am going with that Azure app service, I need to give this subscription resource group. Resource group is something like collection of resources. Like, for example, if I want to host my application, web application, I need a virtual machine, or like I need app service. And with app service, internally it needs virtual machine. Internally it needs networking. All those resources will be there, that will be maintained by Microsoft, not by you. So all those comes under one resource group. Okay, like you can create one resource group. I will name it as like my test app or something like that. That is my web application name. Like whenever I am going to create one app service, like I need to keep that app service, or I need to keep that resource one resource group. So what I will do, I will create one new resource group, call it as my app resources or something like that. So whenever I'm creating this resource, that is nothing but app service, it will be placed in that group. That is my test app group. So what is the advantage of that is, like whenever I'm going with the database server, let it be, because my web application, for my web application, I need some database server also, right? That database server also, I can take advantage of cloud. Like I am having SQL, Azure SQL. So I can go with Azure SQL resource. That is also one resource. Everything in cloud is a resource. So I am going with Azure SQL Server, and there I will create one database. And for that resource also I need to place in one resource group, right? Same resource what I am using for web application, same resource name I can use for my database server also. So my database server is one resource that will come under same resource group, and my web application is one resource that will also come under same resource group, because I am giving same resource group name for both my web application front end and backend database server. Okay, so what is the advantage of that is, in future I don't need this web application. I just created it for some testing purpose. So what I can do, I can directly go and delete that resource group. When I am deleting that resource group, all the resources in that group will be deleted. So what is the advantage of deleting that resource group is, you are freeing up your resources. No need to pay for them. Okay, so in future, when I don't need that, or when I want to move resource from one group to another group, it is very easy to identify. Like if I am not having this resource group, if I place web application in one resource group and database server for that web application in another resource group, like cleaning up resources will be very complex, right? So for that you need resource group. So whenever you are going with this, like subscription, resource group, and all the instance details and everything, you need to give app service plan. I will explain all these options when I am going to create that app service. So this comes under platform as service, infrastructure, Microsoft responsibility, code errors, user responsibility. Why code errors, user responsibility? Because in platform as a service, everything, infrastructure, licensing, operating system, and everything will be under cloud provider. Only development will be under user responsibility. So in that development, because of your code errors, if your application is down, that is not Microsoft's responsibility to correct your application, because this is platform as a service. Code errors, users responsibility. Only infrastructure is Microsoft responsibility, or platform is your Microsoft responsibility. Less control over infrastructure. Why? Because here you are not able to choose the combinations of your operating system, .NET license, .NET versions, and all. Whatever Microsoft is giving, from that options only you need to select. So whenever you go with software as a service, so cloud provider has the largest responsibility for infrastructure and application, because the application also developed by Microsoft and you are just using that product, right? So you can access your Office 365 via browser. So here you have very less responsibility, like everything will be under Microsoft control, right? So cloud provider has the largest responsibility for infrastructure and application too, because you did not develop Office 365. So Microsoft already developed that product and given to you. You can access that using your browser and you can make use of that application, right? So here everything will be under Microsoft control. Okay. Any questions till now? Hello.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So just a comparison between infrastructure as service, platform as service, software as service. Infrastructure as service benefits use only when needed. Like whenever you need your virtual machine, just go and create that resource. If you don't need, delete that resource or deactivate that resource. Powerful VMs without paying for hardware. No need to purchase any hardware, but you will get powerful VMs with different configurations depending on your subscription. Only you are going to pay rent for that powerful PMs. Access to cloud service such as Azure Security Center, backup, Azure Log Analytics. All these are extra benefits you will get with your VMs, because security, backups and logs, everything will be taken care by Microsoft, because that comes as a part of infrastructure. Agility and fault tolerance, like you can maintain like different redundant systems to achieve fault tolerance and all. Those are benefits of your IaaS. And possible drawbacks are operating system and other software installment and management, because in this infrastructure as a service, you will get only virtual machine, right? That is this one. And platform as a service benefit, no need to manage operating system or other software, because that will come under Microsoft responsibility. Take advantage of provided application frameworks like your .NET framework and all, whatever you want, you can get advantage of those application frameworks directly. Lift and shift capability. What is lift and shift capability means? Like you are having on-prem, uh, on-premise machines, on-premise setup. Okay. So your application, your company wants to move to cloud. Okay. Your company having some legacy applications, which is using that on-prem model. Okay. So because nowadays cloud is very common, right? So your company also wants to move your application from your on-prem model to your Azure or cloud. So that you call it as lift and shift capability. Lift your application and shift that to your cloud. So that lift and shift capability is very easy with platform as service. You need to create one app service and deploy your on-prem application to your app service. Okay. And turnkey features such as authentication, logging, and so on. So turnkey features such as authentication, like for example, you don't have cloud, right? Then what you need to do, if you want to go with authentication, you have to implement some identity provider, and you have to implement that authentication and authorization on your own, right? So this feature also comes with platform as a service. You can directly go and create your authentication for your web application. Whenever you are creating your web application, there is one option called authentication on your Azure portal itself. You can go to that authentication and you can directly choose whatever authentication you want. Either you want OpenID authentication, or you want some other authentication like Active Directory, ADFS authentication, any authentication, you can directly choose from your cloud provider only. Okay, like in Azure, you have that option like application, authentication, logging, and everything. Just you need to on and off that feature, turnkey features such as authentication, logging, and so on. So these are the benefits of platform as service. Whenever you are creating app service, like whenever you are planning to host web application in that app service, then for that app service or for that web application, you have option to enable this authentication, logging, and everything. No need to write any custom code to achieve that. That is one of the benefit. Possible drawbacks, less flexibility. Like whatever options they provided, you need to go with only those options, but you don't have any extra options here. Only limited options that is provided by Microsoft. Cloud provider may update and break your application. That is another drawback. So less flexibility already you know, right? And another one is cloud provider may update and break your application. So this point is like you are using some version of .NET Core latest. Okay. So on the .NET Core, some upgrades are there. Okay. So what cloud provider will do? Cloud provider because that is under the control of your cloud provider, because you are using platform as a service. So you are not going to update any soft patches or anything, right? Who will do that? Like Microsoft will do that for you, right? So whenever they are doing that kind of upgrades, like your application might break because like .NET Core, some version like 7 is there. Okay. So now latest .NET Core is there, .NET 9 is there, .NET 7 is out of support. Out of support means like Microsoft, what they are going to do is older versions, they are not going to give support. For example, you are using .NET lower versions. Okay. So now .NET 9 or something is the latest. You are using .NET 5. Okay. So Microsoft will announce we are not going to support .NET 5 now onwards. Then the meaning of that is in .NET 5, if any security risk is coming or if any bugs are there, they are not going to support you. They are just stopping that support for .NET 5. Then what you have to do, you have to upgrade from .NET 5 to .NET 9. Because if they are not providing support, your application will be at risk. Because if any security risk is there, they are not going to support. Already they announced, right? Please upgrade to latest .NET. We are stopping support for .NET 5. So if you get that announcement, then what you have to do, you have to immediately upgrade your application framework from .NET 5 to .NET 9, right? So that upgrade will be taken care by Microsoft because this is platform as a service. Those kind of security patches, upgrades, and everything will be taken care by Microsoft. So cloud provider may update. So what they will do, they will directly update because that is their responsibility, right? And your application might not support that latest version because you are using some libraries which is there in your .NET 5, which is not there in .NET 9. Because whenever they are releasing new framework, they might change that libraries, right? They might add some new functionality. They might remove the existing functionality. So your application might not compile or your application will break, right? So that is drawback of platform as service. Cloud provider may update and break your application. But how to avoid that is cloud provider like Microsoft will intimate you in prayer. Like I am updating this version from .NET 5 to .NET 9, like that they will intimate in prayer. Like maybe 2 months or 3 months earlier only they will intimate us. Like this is the upgrade time. We are upgrading by this date. Please change your application or something like that. Some announcement they will give to you. So depending on that announcement, you will be ready with your application code, like which is compatible with the newer framework. If you are not ready, if they directly upgrade that framework from lower to higher by that date, then your application will be in risk and like it might break. Okay, that is the possible drawbacks of platform as a service. Like if you're going with infrastructure as a service, that is in your hands, right? Until you did not upgrade, your application will be like that only. So software as a service benefit, pay as you go model, like Office 365 subscription, like depending on your expiry date, you will get that benefit like pay as you go model. No management overhead because like infrastructure we are not managing and application we are not managing. So no management overhead, often available on multiple devices via web. Like you can use that via web in different machines, Office 365, not necessary to have IT staff to manage. So you don't need any staff also to manage that Office 365 application and all, right? That is completely under Microsoft responsibility. So those are the benefits of software as service. Possible drawbacks is use case limited to specific use of software service. During outages, software is completely unavailable. Like if any outage happens at Microsoft itself, that software is completely unavailable. So clear with the infrastructure and platform and software as service?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So serverless computing. So what is this serverless computing means? Like Azure data center. So already I told like data center is something like a physical building where they are having this kind of virtual machines. So like I have rented out this virtual machine to one user, like then it is unavailable, right? So whatever virtual machines are available, those will be given to the users. What is unavailable, those will not be given. So this is serverless computing because you don't have any server. You don't have at least one server in your organization, but you are using computing. That means serverless computing because you are using your virtual machines, right? So in these Azure data centers, like whatever machines are available from that machine pool, you will get your virtual machine. Whatever machines are not available, that will be there for other users, and whatever machines are available, that will be given to you. So, like we discussed categories of cloud, we discussed why we need cloud and benefits of cloud. Now, this is types of cloud computing. So there are three types of cloud computing. One is public cloud, another one is private cloud, and the other one is hybrid cloud. So what is public cloud? Any guess? Public, private, and hybrid. So public cloud is something like that will be shared by different users or different organizations. So you can call it as one organization as one tenant. Okay, tenant means who will be tenants who are paying rent to you. Those are tenants, right? So here also same. You are paying rent to Microsoft. You are a tenant to Microsoft. So like one organization, one subscription, one tenant. Another organization, another subscription, another tenant. So in case of public cloud, multi-tenant environment. Multi-tenant environment means more than one organization or more than one tenant will be using your virtual machine. That is public cloud. Okay. So like in case of public cloud, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Like multiple users are using your virtual machine. Like they are hosting that applications in your virtual machine. Okay, so public cloud, like security risk is there because you are exposing that to the public, right, to the users. So in case of public cloud, you don't have any dedicated network or you don't have any dedicated machine. Okay, that will be shared with other users also, other tenants also. So that is like public cloud, but it is cheaper compared to private cloud. Private cloud means you have dedicated networking, VPN, virtual private networks. Okay, you have virtual dedicated virtual machines, you have virtual networks and all. That infrastructure is completely given to you. No one will be using that infrastructure. That is private cloud. But in case of public cloud, that infrastructure will be a shared one. So public cloud, if you don't have any concerns with security, and you don't have any concerns with policies or regulatory, something will be there, right, with government. So if you don't have any such kind of restrictions, then you can go with public cloud and you can host your applications over there. But that the infrastructure will be shared with other users also. Whenever you go with private cloud, you will have a dedicated network and all, and like it will be highly secure, and like you only using that cloud, right? Private cloud. Hybrid cloud means that is the combination. Like in case of private cloud, you can go with on-prem model also. Like on-prem means you are owning your infrastructure, you are paying everything. In private cloud, you have your own billing, you are paying rent, and you are having your own infrastructure and everything, right? That comes under private cloud. Hybrid cloud means like combination. Like for example, I want to maintain database at my end because all my data will go to database, right? So database I don't want to expose to the public cloud. So then what I can do is I can maintain database as on-prem. Like I will control my database server, and web application and web server I can host in cloud. So that is hybrid cloud. Portion of your infrastructure will be maintained by cloud provider and portion of other infrastructure will be maintained by you. Like I am more concerned about my database server because I don't want to take any risk, security risk for my database server. Then what I will do, I will maintain database server on my own, like on-prem. Okay. And like for web application front end, I am okay to put it in cloud. Then what I will do, I will put it in cloud, public cloud. And like this, I am maintaining as private cloud or on-prem. So that is hybrid cloud. Some portion of your infrastructure will be maintained by cloud provider and some portion by. So here public cloud is shared infrastructure provided by the client provider, cloud provider, sorry, that is not client provider. Shared infrastructure provided by the cloud provider, that is public cloud. Everyone who uses the cloud shares the same infrastructure, that is multi-tenant environment. Like more than one tenant will be there for your cloud. Okay. So benefits, agility, quick development to the cloud. Sorry, quick deployments to the cloud. Easy management, cost control. Like agility already we discussed. Quick deployments to the cloud, like with few clicks you are able to deploy your application to your public cloud. Easy management, why? Because like cloud provider is also supporting your infrastructure. Cost control, because like it will be shared, right? Whenever sharing is there, cost will be less. And drawbacks, some loss of control, like you don't have any control over public cloud because that will be shared across different tenants. Security and regulatory requirements, some loss of flexibility, that is public cloud, that is multi-tenant environment. Private cloud means single tenant, you are only using that particular infrastructure. Private cloud infrastructure dedicated to a single company. Benefits here also, cloud benefits you will get agility, private network, not public network. So you will have your own VPN, virtual private network, and that traffic and everything will go into that VPN, virtual private network one. That will not be exposed to the internet. Like public cloud means how networking will happen through internet. But whenever you are going with private cloud, how networking will happen with your private network. That will not be exposed to your internet. You will have your own VPN, virtual private network, and your traffic will flow in that VPN only. Okay. So that is private network, can be used without internet access because you are not exposing that to internet. You are having your own VPN, virtual private network. Can help control costs. Okay. So this is your private cloud benefits. The main advantage is you will have your own VPN. So your traffic will flow in that. If you are using internet based flow, right, network traffic, then what will happen is there will be a chance of hacking and all, because you are transferring your data from your machine to cloud provider's machine, right? So that will flow using your internet. So whenever you are exposing that to public cloud, then what will happen? There might be a risk of hacking your information. But whenever you are using private network, which is different from your public network, right? So that will flow in your network only. You are not exposing that to the internet. So there will be less security risk. But if you are not that much concerned about the data which you are transferring from your machine or from your application to that cloud provider, then it's okay to go with public cloud because that will be less expensive. But it will be shared by different users and it will have that internet usage and all to transfer your traffic. Drawbacks of private cloud is if infrastructure is owned, cost can be high. Okay, may not be able to effectively control access to data. So those are the private cloud. Hybrid cloud is a mixture of both public and private cloud. Benefits means keep some systems on premise and better support for legacy systems, like keep some systems on premises, we are saying, right? Hybrid cloud database server. Like I don't want to expose my database server to public networking. Then I can make use of on-prem. Better support for legacy systems. So I can go with lift and shift. Lift and shift means I can take my on-prem model and I can shift that to cloud. But some legacy applications not supported by platform as a service, right? Because I don't have many options in platform as a service, because I have limited options, limited .NET framework options, and limited, like my .NET application developed in very old framework, .NET 3.5, let it be. That is very legacy application, right? My cloud provider is not supporting that legacy application. So how can I go with lift and shift? I am not able to. So what I can do, I will maintain only that portion of servers or infrastructure in my on-prem, and remaining I can move. So that type of advantage I am having with hybrid cloud. Better support for legacy system. Maintain control over data and infrastructure. Drawbacks are technically complex to connect system. Why technically complex to connect system? My on-prem model need to communicate with my cloud model, right? So if all the systems are in cloud, communication is very easy. Like whenever you are going with public or private cloud, either it will be in on-prem or it will be in cloud. But whenever you are going with hybrid cloud, some machines or some VMs are in your on-prem model and some VMs are in your cloud model. So my web server is in cloud and my database server is in on-prem. Okay, so how, like it is very complex to make communication between this on-prem VM to my cloud VM. You need some external connectors and all. So that technical complexity is there. That is one of the drawback of your hybrid cloud. Technically complex to connect system, compatibility of data. Like it should be compatible with your cloud and all, right? So these are the drawbacks of hybrid cloud. These are different types of cloud computing. So hybrid, private and public. Any questions till now? Hello? Hello?
No questions, ma'am.
No questions, okay. I'm assuming that all are able to grasp all the topics because these are very important, because these are the fundamentals for Azure. Okay, like nowadays, you know how much demand is there for Azure or cloud technologies, right? If you are able to grasp these fundamentals, you are able to easily able to grasp other advanced topics also. Okay. So till now, what we discussed is like category of cloud, like
Ma'am.
infrastructure as service. Yeah. Hello. Any question?
Ma'am, I mean public
Sorry.
means can have any clients, ma'am, for public cloud.
Public, for public cloud, can we
Cloud,
have any?
We'll have more users, ma'am.
Sorry, I did not get you.
Two or three organizations will use that public cloud, ma'am.
No, public clouds.
Public cloud is used by two or more organizations.
Yeah, public clouds means like you want to get clarity on that, right? What is public cloud?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, public cloud is something like you are having one virtual machine, right? You are making it as web server, IaaS. So in that virtual machine, you have IaaS. IaaS is nothing but your web server, right? Like you created one web application. Okay, you developed one web application. You need to host that web application in one server, right? So that server you don't want to maintain. You want to go with cloud. So then what you will do? You will go for cloud provider like Azure, and you will ask for one virtual machine. Okay. So how like you will get that virtual machine and you will get that IaaS also web server if you go with PA, platform as a service. Okay. So when you are using platform as a service, like you don't need to bother about internals, like what virtual machine you are using, what IIS server you are using, and like what operating system you are using. All those will be taken care by Microsoft only. That is under Microsoft control, right? Like one virtual machine, they are not going to give for one web application. That is not cost effective, right? If you are having one machine in one IIS, you can host multiple applications. I am one application related to sales. I am having another application related to some other department. Like different organizations will have their own applications, right? So web server means not only one application. You can host multiple applications, right? So whenever they are
Yes.
giving that virtual machine, that web server, they will not host only your application. They will host others application also in that virtual machine, in that web server. That is public cloud. And networking and
Okay.
all, like how you are going to means via internet. You got it right?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. So that is public cloud. In case of private cloud, dedicated but costly. So any other questions? Till now, good, right? So now I am going to discuss Azure architectural components. So Azure architectural components, you have regions, region pairs, availability zones, resource groups, and all these are core concepts of your Azure. Okay. Azure subscription and manage groups, ARM, Azure Resource Manager, Azure Resources. So I will explain what all these are. Already you have some knowledge on regions, right? Region is nothing but you have data centers. Data centers are nothing but physical buildings. Within that data center, you will have machines. Machines are nothing but virtual machines or something like that, your infrastructure. In that building, they will pay rent for that building, water, power supply, and everything will be taken care by Microsoft. That building will be in one region, right? That is nothing but a region. You call that building as a data center. So in one region, you can have multiple data centers, like they will lease multiple buildings. In each building, they will maintain so many machines and infrastructure, networking, everything they will pay, and they will rent that infrastructure to you. Okay, so regions. Pairs means like in one region, like you can pair that VM in another VM which is there in another region. So by using region pairs, you can achieve fault tolerant. Like for example, any network failure or anything happen in one region, then it will go to virtual machine in another region. You can pair your virtual machine in one region with the virtual machine in another region. You call that as region pairs. This is to achieve fault tolerance. And availability zones. So availability zones means within region you might have different zones, right? Like I am having Asia Pacific region. In that region, I am having different zones. So within region, you have zones. Regions different. You might have three regions. In each region, you might have zones. Within zones, you will have data centers. Okay. So availability zones means within region, like you want to maintain zones, zone 1, zone 2, something like that. What is the need of zones means, like I told you, right? Like whenever software upgrades happen, you need to restart your machine. And in case of network failure, you want to go with another zone VM, right? That is availability zones. Like in one region, there might be three zones or there might be one zone. That is depending on their availability. Like for example, I am having one region. There I can maintain some 3 to 4 zones. Why? Because that region is very cheap. So like take leasing, building and maintaining infrastructure over that region is cost effective. So I can maintain more zones in that region because it is less cost effective. One region is there that is very costly. So leasing, building and maintaining infrastructure, that will be more costly.
So in that region, I might not have that much of available zones. Why? Because like I need to pay more rent, right? I need to pay more money to that leasing and all. So that is availability zones. In one region, you might have some zones, and in another region, you might have some zones. Depending on your region, your physical location, geography location, that availability zones will be there. So in some regions, you might have more zones. In some other region, you have less zones. So those called as availability zones. Like in one region, if you have multiple zones, then you can maintain that VMs in different zones instead of maintaining all at one zone. So that's how you can give that fault tolerance and all. But in some regions, if you don't have any availability zones, like for example, India. In India, in Delhi, I have only one data center, let it be. So I don't have any other zones in India. So then what? That availability zone will not be there. So in that region, in that zone only, I am able to maintain if I choose that region. Like if I choose a different region when I am creating my virtual machine, like if that region is having multiple zones, then I can take advantage of this availability zones. Okay. Resource groups. Already we discussed what is resource group. Like all your resources are related to one application, you can keep in one resource group so that cleaning that resources will be easier, deleting that resources will be easy. When you don't need your web application, directly go and delete that resource group. All the resources related to that resource group will be deleted. No need to pay anything for that resources from there onwards. Okay. So for cleanup activity, these resource groups are very useful. Azure subscription and management group. Like if you want to create virtual machine, or if you want to create app service, if you want to do anything, if you want to create any resource, then what you need is you need Azure subscription. So that's how Microsoft is getting money out of you. Like that is the rent you are paying. Like Azure subscription, right? Right. In that you have basic subscription, standard subscription, premium subscription. Depending on the type of subscription, free subscription. Free subscription is for 30 days and you will get $200 credit. So once that 30 days is completed, then you need to switch to pay as you go subscription. Like pay as you go means like depending on your consumption for that month, you will pay. Like your broadband connection, like you will pay at the end of month, right? Like that, pay as you go. Like in one month you might have more bill and in one month you might have less bill. Like whatever you are using, you will pay for that only. That is pay as you go. And like you have basic, standard, premium. Basic subscription means they will give some features. With basic subscription you will get all like a package. Okay, and like you are having standard, premium. Like basic is less costly, standard is more, and premium is very more costly. So like that you have Azure subscription and manage groups. So what is the difference between subscription and managed group is, like in my organization, I am having different departments, like sales department is there, IT department is there, and some other department is there, marketing department is there. Like that, I am having so many departments, right? So I want to measure the billing based on the department. Like for sales department, this is the billing I got, and these are the machines. Like that, I want to maintain different groups. Like I don't want to mingle all the billing uh, with different departments. I want to maintain dedicated billing for each department, so that that corresponding department heads or that corresponding people will take care of that billing. So what you need to do is then you can take 3 subscriptions, each subscription for one group, so that you can easily manage that group. So subscription comes at top level. Under subscription, you can have groups. Like for this group, I created subscription one, sales group. So subscription one is basic. So whatever subscription one resources and everything will be given to that group, sales group, and they are able to use only the resources under that subscription. Like that, I can manage groups with subscriptions. Subscription is the top level, groups are the second level. Within groups, you can create that resources under. So whatever resources you created under that subscription will come to that group. Like you can give permissions very easily. Like this subscription is for this group, this subscription is for this group. Like that, you can create multiple subscription, and for each subscription, you can assign some group. So only the users within that group are able to access your portal via that subscription, and they are able to create resources. Okay. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah. So ARM, Azure Resource Manager. Okay. So what is this ARM? So this Azure Resource Manager is something like where you can do management activities with your resource manager. So with that, what you can do is like you can create resource, you can delete resource, you can lock resource. Like that, whatever you want to do, you can do with this ARM, Azure Resource Manager. Basically, that will be taken care of all your resource management activities, creation, deletion, locking, like the deployment, and everything will be resource deployment, and everything will be taken care by your ARM, Azure Resource Manager. Azure resources are the basic units like your VM, app service, web apps, function apps, logic apps. You have so many resources. There are around 2000 plus resources, I guess. So all those Azure resources are available. Like you are able to access those resources using ARM, Azure Resource Manager. So clear with these key points: region pairs, zones, resource groups, subscription and groups, Azure Resource Manager, Azure Resources. Clear with these topics?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if we want to provide subscription to the group members, like in the managed groups, you told that we can manage the subscription, we can manage the billing, no, ma'am. Like,
Yes.
which tier of subscription we need for those management group to manage groups, ma'am?
Sorry, which type of subscription?
Yeah, ma'am.
That depend on your requirement. Like for example, you are in CTS, right? In CTS, I am having training group, right?
Okay,
For training
okay.
group, yeah. For training group, like you don't need a premium subscription or you don't need standard. I can go with free subscription for exploration, right? Depending on your requirement, you can use corresponding subscription. Like not only training group, I am having some product group, like they are developing some products for that company or some kind of stuff they are doing. So for that product group, they need more resources, right? They need more configuration, like high configuration systems and all. So for that, I can go with premium subscription. So depending on the requirement, you can give corresponding subscription to the group. Got it?
Yeah, ma'am. Like with the free subscription also, we can manage groups, ma'am.
Yeah, subscription and groups are different. Subscription means like you are creating one subscription and you are assigning that to groups.
Yeah, okay.
So what manage groups and subscription means, via subscription, like you are managing group, like you are not combining all groups under one subscription. You are creating different subscription, like that. You are managing groups with that subscription. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So geographies and regions, like these are some United States geography, UK geography. So in this geography, like they are giving borders, like for example, United States compliance, regulatory and compliance policies are different from UK regulatory and compliances, right? So how they are giving that regions is something like depending on geography. So for US geography, they will have different policies, and for UK geography, they will have different policies. So this in this geography, they are having different regions: Central US, East US, West US. Like this in UK geography, they are having different regions. So they are giving boundaries based on geography. Like all United States geography will fall in this compliance and regulatory rules as per the United States government. All UK geography regions will follow all the policies that is enforced by UK government, data and security policies. Like that, based on geographies, they are maintaining regions and policies. Okay. So data center, that is nothing but your physical building. It will be like this. So in your central US region, in this region, let it be. So you have 2 data centers in central US region. So contains physical hardware, because that is physical building, right? Data center, climate control, dedicated network infrastructure, isolated power supply for each data center, power generators in case of power failures or power outage, data in and outflows over Microsoft owned or leased cables. Like networking, they can own their Microsoft owned cables they can use, or they can lease that network cables for maintaining this network connectivity and all. So this is data center in central US region. Like that, Microsoft is having so many data centers in different regions. So all those will be available when you are creating your resources. Like for example, I have some subscription, Azure subscription, and I am using that subscription, and I am creating one virtual machine. Whenever I am creating virtual machine, it will ask which region you want to. So because in this data center I have VMs, in this data center I have VMs, like that I am having so many regions, right? So whenever I am creating that virtual machine, I have to intimate. I need virtual machine in central US region in this data center or something like that, or in this zone, if they have zones in that region. Like how can we choose which region and which data center for the VM? Any guesses? Like I want to create one virtual machine. So it is asking where you want to create your virtual machine. How can I take decision? Like where I need to create virtual machine? What are the key factors that I need to consider? Any guess? Anyone, any guess? So why you need virtual machine? Actually, so virtual machine you need for your application hosting only, right? You develop one application and you want to host it in some virtual machine. So I am asking, how can you choose the region where you want to host your application? How can you choose the region for your VM? Because you want to host your application, right? How can you choose which region you need to select for your virtual machine? That depends on your geography, right? For example, my customers, my users, end users are in India. Okay. So I have developed one application for HDFC Bank, let it be. So I want to host that HDFC web application in cloud provider. So for that, I need one virtual machine. So I need to create one virtual machine to host my web application. So I have subscription and I am using that Microsoft portal, and I am creating one web application, and I am deploying that into virtual machine. So if I select UK virtual machine, UK region based virtual machine, is it feasible? Like I have selected region as UK and I created one virtual machine and my end users are from India. So what
No.
is the,
No.
can I create like that? No, right? Why? Because my users are in India and my application end users are in India, and I am creating a virtual machine in UK. Then what is the latency of that application? What is the access time of that application? Like it will it will take more time to access my application. Latency issues and performance issues will be there. Why? Because the region which I selected is wrong. So you have to take better decision whenever you are creating your virtual machine in a specific region. So first of all, you have to know who are the end users for my application, in which region or in which data center I need to create my virtual machine, where I have to host my application. All these are architectural decisions. So you will have software architect, right, to take care of this planning, architectural and everything, right? So they will decide. So where to create that virtual machine, in which region, what are the end users, what is the business, they need to analyze everything. Depending on that, they have to take architectural decision. Okay. So blindly, if you go and select one region and if you host your application over there, then it will be a big mess up. Okay. So region pairs. So I am having here central US region and I am pairing the virtual machine in central US region with East US region, so that if in case of any network failure in this particular region, or if any disaster occur in this region, then the regional pair, whatever I made pairing, that VM will come into picture and that VM will act as a primary VM. Okay, this is regional pairs. Like that, I can go with regional pairs. And availability zones. Like regional pairs means two different regions, you have data centers. Availability zones means within one region, you have different zones, like fault tolerant or something like that. So availability zones, when can you use? If you have data centers in different zones, then only this availability zones comes into picture. If you don't have any zones or only one zone, then you don't have any availability zones. So depending on the region, already I discussed it, right? Some regions might be costly and some region might be cheap. They will maintain zones depending on all those factors. So here in central US region, availability, three availability zones are there. So designed to protect an application from data center failures. Like in one region, this zone data center failed. This building not working, like networking problem is there or something. Then another zone, it will redirect the traffic to another virtual machine, which is there in another availability zone. So these availability zones are designed to protect an application from data center failures. Okay, physical buildings, data centers are nothing. So unique physical location within a region. So this is one physical location, okay, in this region, like Asia Pacific, right? In that I am having India, one region. In that region, I am having Delhi and I am having Mumbai. I am having Hyderabad, like that different availability zones. Like that I can go with availability zones depending on physical location within a region. One or more data centers in each availability zone. Again, in availability zone, I can maintain one or more data centers. At least three in each enabled region. Generally, they will maintain three availability zones for a region if it is zone available. Okay. Resource groups already we discussed. Like web app, like if I want to host my web app, I need that web app, database, virtual machine, cache, all these comes under one resource group. Logical container for Azure resource. This is one resource, SQL is one resource, cache is one resource, VM is one resource. Everything is resource. So this resource group is a logical container for Azure resources, helps with resource management. So I can delete all the resources at once. I can easily manage the resources which is there in my resource group. Better way to control costs. For example, like I created one resource group. Like for this resource group, this is the cost. So I want to reduce cost for that resource group. Then I can easily identify what are the resources I am using in that resource group and what is the usability of that resource. Like I am having one web application. Okay, that web application is not having much traffic, but I created very high configured VM. Is it needed? It's not needed, right? So for that resource group, I got like very high billing. So in that I identified one resource configuration is very more, but that is not required. Unnecessarily or unknowingly we created like that. Then what you have to do, you can easily identify the resource, the application and everything, because all are interrelated to one resource group, right? Okay, for this application I created this VM, but this application is not expecting that much of traffic. So I can downsize or scale down that VM. Something like that you can have better way to control costs. Improved billing experience with the tags. Like you can create tags also. Like tag is something like for identification. Like for this resource, I created this resource for this purpose. You can create some tag. So whenever you like search with that tag, you will get all the resources comes under that tag. Like that for this tag, like this is for sales application. I created sales application tag. So like by using that tag, I am able to find all the resources associated with that tag. So like that, I can improve billing experience with the tags, like how much billing is happening for the sales app. Like when I type sales app tag, then all the billing information for the tag will come. Something like that I can do. Easy to redeploy with ARM templates. So ARM is nothing but Azure Resource Manager. Earlier we discussed that Azure Resource Manager, right? By using Azure Resource Manager, what you can do is you can create resources. Okay, you can delete resources, resource management you can do with Azure Resource Manager. So easy to redeploy with ARM templates. So ARM templates I did not discuss, right? So what is ARM template is Azure Resource Manager template. Like whenever I am developing one application, I am having different environments like development environment, testing environment, staging environment, production environment, right? So if I am developing my application in development environment, then that application works very well. I think like I will not get any production issues with this application. But then I gave that for testing. In testing also, I did not get any exceptions or errors, any bugs. Everything went smooth in testing environment also, let it be. Then I deployed that to production environment. There I am getting so many issues. But my application work well in development and testing, but it is not working as expected in production. So what might be the issue over there? The issue might be with your environment, right? Environment is nothing but your server, like not code issue, configuration issue, like your VM issue or your like .NET version issue. Because when you are creating application or when you are creating virtual machine in your development environment, you have chosen .NET Framework 7 to create your resource. Okay, whenever you are deploying that in production machine, you created one virtual machine or one app service with .NET Framework 9. Okay, so this application works well in development environment because it is compatible with .NET 7. When I move to test environment also, I have chosen same .NET 7. So that also worked well over there. But when I moved it to production, then what happened is my .NET framework got changed. It is .NET Framework 9 and my application starts behaving differently because it is not compatible with .NET Framework 9. Okay, so to avoid these kind of environmental issues or configuration issues, because that is not a code issue, right? Your code is working fine, but environment issue, framework issue, right? So that is very difficult to identify and solve, right? So what we want is we want to replicate same kind of environment, same kind of resource group, same kind of resources, everything. Like resource is nothing but virtual machine, app service and everything, right? So same replication we want to do in production and testing, right? Testing and production. So that kind of replication, how you can do, if you are doing it manually, like manual always involves some bugs, right? Like you can make some mistakes whenever you are replicating same manually. So instead of manual creation, you can go for automated approach. So that automated approach you can do with templates. So you are having Azure Resource Manager ARM templates. By using those templates, whenever you are creating one resource group, right? When you are deploying that resource group, or when you are creating that resource group, you can create template out of it. So template means like that template, same template you can use for creating resource group in your test and in production. That template will have same specifications, like this is the virtual machine I am creating. That specifications you will give in that template. Based on that specification, it will auto create your resources in other environments. Okay. So by using this Azure Resource Manager template, you are able to create such kind of templates. By using that templates, you can easily create resources in other environments without manual intervention. So that's how you can avoid configuration issues, because the resource group is same replica of your dev and test in prod, right? So you won't face any configuration issues. Got it? ARM templates? So Azure subscription. So Azure subscription, highest level you have Azure resource. Each subscription has a unique subscription ID. Subscription have limits. So subscription, depending on your subscription type, you can have some quotas or limits. Like for this subscription, you will create only 100 virtual machine. With this subscription, you can create 1,000 VMs. Like that, you have quotas with subscriptions. Okay, each subscription has a unique subscription ID. You are creating that. Highest level is Azure resource. So subscription tied with Azure resource. Okay. So like you, with one subscription ID, you can create Azure resource. In that resource is nothing but, I already informed, right? Everything is resource. So with that subscription ID, like whatever resources you are permitted, you are able to create that. So create additional subscriptions like free trial. Depending on your groups, you can create additional subscriptions. Like you have different subscription types, like free trial, pay as you go, test and prod, something like that. You have different subscriptions. This is management groups, like already we discussed, right? Sales department. For that West division, you have one subscription. East division, depending on that, you can give subscriptions. Training, IT, something like that. In IT, again, dev subscription will be different from IT subscription. Dev needs application subscription and all, right? Because they need that for their development purposes and all. Because Azure function, I want to create one function in Azure. So who will create that? Developer will create. So I need a different subscription for dev and a different subscription for IT or some other department. But whenever I'm going with dev, I need a subscription where the developer can create function in Azure, something like that. Trainer subscription, subscription or something like that. You can create and manage groups. So Azure Resource Manager, like I will explain all practicals, but before that you need to understand the theory. If I directly go to portal and if I create resource, you don't know why I am creating this resource, what is VM, what is app service, what is infrastructure as service, platform as service and all, right? So if you understood this theory, then it will be very easy for you when I am doing practicals. So this Azure Resource Manager is for managing your resources, right? It might be a SQL server, it might be a virtual machine, it might be an app service. So this Azure Resource Manager, ARM, how it's going to interact with the resources means you are having Azure Resource Manager API. Like you can create Azure resources using Visual Studio. you can create resources in Azure using command line. You can directly create resources in Azure using Azure portal. Azure portal is nothing but you have that website, right? So in 3 ways, you can create resources in Azure. For example, I want to create a function in Azure. Function is also a resource. Everything is resource, right? So in Visual Studio, I can go and create one function and I deploy that to my app service. App service can host web applications, web APIs, and everything. It is part of platform as a service. Instead of taking virtual machine, installing and everything over there, what I can do is I can create app service and can associate my web application or my Azure function or my web API to that one. So whenever I am creating a function in my Visual Studio, Azure function, then what I want to do is I want to deploy that function to Azure App Service. Or I am creating one web application using Visual Studio. I want to deploy that to Azure App Service, which is part of Platform as a Service. So I can directly do that from Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, I have one option to publish that web application. So whenever I create that publish option, then you want to publish, like that it will ask, I want to publish that to cloud. You need to select that Azure option. So there you will get one dialog box, and there you need to select your subscription key. If any, you have to log in. You have to log in with your user credentials. If you have free trial, you will get some user credentials and all, right? So you have to log in with that user credentials and all. Then you will, you are able, once login is successful, you are able to select your subscription. From there, you are able to create resource group because you want to deploy that in some resource, right? That will be associated with some resource group. You can create resource group on the fly from Visual Studio, and you can deploy that one to your app service, or you can do it via command line also. So I will explain this command line tools in next session. So this command line tools comes with PowerShell and Bash. Like there are different command line tools. So what is the advantage of command line tools over GUI? Like here I can do it with that clicks also, right? With dialog box and clicks in Visual Studio and Azure portal. Why I need to go with command lines? So with commands, you are able to create resources using PowerShell and Bash. So why I need this PowerShell command if I am having directly that GUI interface for creating resources in Visual Studio and portal. So with, yeah, tell me. Hello.
Yeah,
someone.
like we can create functions in that command line, and we can reuse that to create the resources, ma'am.
Yeah, like some portion is correct. Like what you can do is you can create that resource using command line. For example, virtual machine is one resource, right? So like I can create a virtual machine using Azure portal, that is using graphical user interface. Shall I automate that? I am not able to automate my GUI actions. Like if I am using command line, I can create commands. That commands I can run in any environment. Got it? Automation is easy because here you are writing commands, right? Like I am creating one virtual machine in East region of US. So I am writing commands. That commands you are able to execute in different machines or different environments, right? But if I create same resource using Azure portal via clicks, am I able to capture that? Did you get my point? Like if I am doing same resource creation using commands, that commands I can execute anywhere. So same kind of resources I can create in other environment like test and production. Automation is possible, right? No need to create that via GUI manually. Did you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that is the advantage of command line and commands. Using commands also you can create Azure resources. So whenever you are doing that using command line, automation is easy. So same commands you can execute in different environments. But when you are doing that via GUI, like graphical user interface, that capturing is not possible for other environments. You need to do it manually, or you can do with templates. Templates also something like commands only, JSON format, like it will store all the actions what you did in this Azure portal as a template, and it will recreate from there similar way. So this is resource provider. Here you are able to interact with resources. So you can interact or you can create resources these three ways. So you need a break, or like how, like we started at 9, right?
Yes,
Or
ma'am, we need it.
you need a break? Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. we need it.
So yeah, like when you will be back, you need 10 minutes break, or like now it is 11, right? By 11:15 or 11:20, all of you are able to come back.
Ma'am, no, ma'am. It's 11:10, ma'am. It's around 11:08.
11:10. By 11:30?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we will take a short break, and after 11:30 we will discuss other stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. I am keeping my
అదే ల్యాప్టాప్ ఫింగర్ పెడతావేమో ఇక్కడ సైట్ నీ దగ్గరలో ఉంటే ఏమన్నా చేసా సర్లే
I will resume by 11:30. Okay.
ఓకే.
ఓకే చెప్పన్నా నేను తీసుకునేస్తాలే అన్న ఈ వీక్ లో ల్యాప్టాప్ చేస్తాను నీకు అవునా నేను కొత్త తీసి నీకు ఇచ్చేస్తాను సరే హలో
Hello. Are you guys back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So till now we discussed the theory, right? So I think theory is enough for today. Like I will show how to subscribe to Azure portal, how to create a resource and all, so that you can practice that in afternoon session. Okay. Is
Ma'am?
it fine?
Okay.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, ma'am, will you provide that Azure account or we have to create it, ma'am?
You have to create it. For that Azure account, actually, if you have any debit card or credit card, you have to enter those details, but they will not charge you for that. Free trial. So if you convert that to pay as you go subscription, then only they will deduct money from your card. But you can give that card, they will not deduct any
Okay,
money.
ma'am.
So you need to subscribe that actually. So here I am going to show how to do that. You need to navigate to portal.azure.com. This is the URL. So here you have to sign in with your Outlook account. I created one Outlook account already. So I am using that account. You can create your own Outlook account, okay? And log in with that account. So navigate to portal.azure.com and create one Outlook account. Sign in with that account. I'm waiting to make this. Okay, please go in with this account. I will open it in incognito mode. Let me check one more time. So I am getting some code to my alternative mail ID. Let me check that. And stop sharing for a while. So you need to give your alternative email ID. For that, you will get some code. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah, I am sharing.
no, can we
Yeah,
use our
are you able to
Cognizant
see?
mail, ma'am?
Cognizant mail for free account they if they have that subscription Azure subscription for your credentials, you are able to. If any subscription associated for that organizational account, probably you might not have any account or any subscription associated with your account. You have your account, right? Cognizant account, username and password. So for that user ID, for that email ID, if any subscription is associated with that email ID, you can use that. Otherwise, if you want to use a free plan, you can go with this Outlook. if you want to log in with your organizational account, you should have that subscription, associated subscription. Okay. So my recommendation is, like, for your practice purpose, you can create one Outlook email ID. You are able to create that directly, right? Your Outlook email ID. Someone create one and try to log in with that account. So when you are trying to create a subscription, then it will ask for your card details. You can give those card details, but they will not charge anything until you convert that to paid subscription. Okay. So you will get some credits when you create this account, right? And when you are trying to subscribe with free trial, you will get that credits actually. So that credits will be available for 1 month. Okay. So within that month, you can use those credits, and like you can create resources and all. So what I did is, like, I created one Outlook account. Okay. And I am trying to sign up with that account. So I provided my card details and all, but they will not charge anything further. So once
Ma'am?
that is there, yeah.
When we are trying to open portal.azure.com, automatically it is showing our Cognizant mail ID there, ma'am. It is asking us to choose one.
Okay, you can check. If you have subscription, then it will allow. If you don't have any subscription, then it will give access error. You are able to create Outlook and you are able to provide that Outlook, right? You can remove, add account option will be there, right, in your browser.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can add account and you can create your trial version, and from there you can operate. Okay.
Okay. ma'am.
Yeah. So I logged in with this account, and like, if I want to see what are the active subscription I am having, I can go to subscription section. Here, this is the home page. You will get home page like this. Create a resource. Like I already told, right, what is resource and all. Like, you will get all the resources available in Azure. Resource group, app service. Like this, you have virtual machines, storage accounts. All are not required, but some are core services or core resources. I will show all those in this training. Okay. So here, subscriptions. Like if I go to subscriptions, Azure subscription one, with this name I created one subscription. Okay. So this is the subscription ID. This is auto-generated. When I create this subscription, Azure subscription one, then this ID got generated. This is the unique identifier to identify my subscription. So owner, current cost, like I did not create any resources which incurs cost. So current cost is 0. Tenant group parent management group, by default that group, and this subscription is active. If I go to Azure subscription, like, it will give some dashboard, like what are the free service uses and using services. All this will come under this Azure subscription. Like I am having $200 remaining free credit, expires in 30 days. So upgrade. If I upgrade, then they will charge. Upgrade to pay version, then they will charge. If I did not upgrade, then they won't charge. This $200 credit I can use for 30 days, and I can create resources, whatever I want, I can do. Okay. So this is subscriptions. Like if you want to add a new subscription also, you can do here. So this is the subscription name. This is the billing account, billing profile, like that you have, right? So all this information is there. So now I want to create a resource. So when I click on create resource, so these are different resources available by default. You can search for more resources in marketplace also. So see more in marketplace. You will get so many resources. You can subscribe and you can search for that resource and you can create. Windows Server, if you want to create, you can create Windows 10 machine. Like that, there are so many resources available in your marketplace. You can go to that also. So now I am creating one virtual machine. Okay. So I am going with create resource. And here you have option to create virtual machine. Okay. So here go and create virtual machine. So this is the wizard I got. So here already we discussed all the theory, right? So here subscription is there, Azure subscription. Like this is by default got selected because I have only this subscription. So resource group, like whatever virtual machine I am creating, I want to keep that resource in a resource group. So here I can create a new resource group. So I am giving resource group as test VM group. Okay. So this is my resource group name, virtual machine name. I want to give it as test VM. This is my virtual machine name. So here region, like already we know, right, what is region and all. So here it is showing Asia Pacific Central India. So here I can go with different options. So many regions are available for this subscription. So if I want to create it in US, East US and all, I can select that. So here, for example, if I go with East US, I am having availability zones. Like in that region, there are zones are available. So I can use availability zones. So self-selected zone, choose up to 3 availability zones. Like this, you have this option. Like here, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, like that you have, right? So you can select any of these availability zones. These availability zones are available in US, East US, right? For example, if I select Asia Pacific, East Asia, availability zone, I am not getting any zones here. Here also 3 zones are available. Like if zones are available, you will get those. If zones are not available, you won't get something like that. So now I am creating it in some US, East US, or you can create it in Asia Pacific depending on your wish. So I am going with that region and availability zones. Like availability zone means like for production environment, I want to create redundant servers and all, right? So for that, I can create the availability zone, virtual machine scale set, availability set, all this. But for now, I am not going with any of these options because I am creating a test window. So I am going with no infrastructure redundancy required because just I am creating it for testing purpose. So security type, like what kind of security you want to provide. I am going with standard or something like you can do that. So here what kind of image or operating system you want to choose. So I want to go with like Windows Server or something like this data center Azure. So I'm going with Windows Server 2025. So here VM architecture 64, it is supporting S64, right? So by default it got selected. Not supported for the selected image. See here, whatever Microsoft is giving, we are able to select that one only here. So next, run with Azure spot discount size, like here size also, like 4 virtual CPUs, 2 CPUs, 16. So depending on this size, your cost is varying. See here, like if you go with 4 CPUs, then the cost is $274 per month. If you go with the two, $159 per month. Like that, depending on your requirement, you can choose. I am going with standard. So it will cost $10 per month. This is available with my free service eligible. So here I am going with this. So for that virtual machine, like you need some username, right? I am giving username as testadmin and some password. So length should be 12 characters. Okay. So like that, I created one administrator account for my VM. So here, if you want to use some ports, inbound ports or something, ports you can select here. And if you don't want any specific port, then you can choose one, then it will take one. So I am going with allow selected ports and select inbound ports are 3389 RDP. I want to go with RDP. Like if you want to use it with HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, you can do that. But this is like a web portal kind of thing. If you want to remote desktop into that VM directly, then you can select RDP, remote desktop. So I am going with RDP. So like this disks also you can create, like what are the OS disk size, SSD, premium SSD, or like if you want to go with standard, premium, depending on redundant storage. For storage also you can select redundant. All these options are available. So this delete with VM means whenever you are deleting the VM, this disk also will be deleted, something like that. So I am going with the default networking options, whatever they are giving for now. All these settings I am giving default. Like monitoring, you have app insights for monitoring, application health monitoring and alerts. So all these services you can enable or disable depending on your requirement. So advanced. So all these options you can go through, like each option having its own significance. So I am going with default options and I am going with create. So I click on review and create. So running final validation, like it's checking whatever options I have provided, those are correct or not. It is checking that validation, running final validation. So once validation is successful, I am able to create. So this validation got passed. So all these are the selected options. Like I went with the subscription, test VM, and all these. Okay. So I am clicking on create. So when I click on create, it is creating that machine. So it is initializing deployment. So test VM group. This is my resource group, right? And test VM is my resource name, virtual machine name. So that test VM will be placed in this resource group. It is submitting the deployment. Deployment in progress. So it's creating all the needed information. Like for that you need networking and all, right? So it is creating all those things for you. So deployment is still in progress. It's created all the resources. Like these resources are not created by us. This is created by your Azure only. Why? Because all these resources are needed to support your network interfaces, security groups, and IP addresses. All these created by us. So this test VM deployment is still in progress. It might take some 1 minute or something like that. Yeah, deployment succeeded. So I am able to connect to this machine. Like here, this deployment is completed. Once deployment is completed, create another VM if you want to create another one, or you can go to resource. So this is my resource overview page. Okay. So this is test VM virtual machine. This is the resource I created. So all these specifications and everything mentioned here. So if I want to connect to this VM, I can connect from here. Yeah, let me try to. So it is already started. So if you want to stop your machine, you can stop. Or if you want to connect, just click on connect. So this is the public IP address given to that machine. So what I want to do is I want to use my remote desktop and I want to log into that one. So I can go with download RDP file. So this got downloaded. So when I click on this, it is asking for connect. So test admin is the user which I created when I am creating this virtual machine, right? And the password which I entered earlier. I need to give that. It is connecting to that virtual machine. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now it is going with the test admin user and it is preparing that user settings and all for the virtual machine. So my configuration, I went with free configuration, right? So that's why this machine is little slow. Like if I go with some high configuration, then it will be very fast. And also I'm sharing my screen, maybe some bandwidth. It take some time. Now I got this desktop, like it's taking time to load. It's taking more time. Let me start sharing. So here we have options, availability plus scaling, like availability zone,
you did not select anything for this, right? Availability zones, fault domains, update domains. So fault domains is for fault tolerant, and update domains is like whenever you are updating your software, then like whatever domains you mentioned here, update domains. For example, you have created two virtual machines in two regions or in two zones, like you mark it as update domain. Those two virtual machine updates will not happen at one time. So only one machine update will happen. Once that is completed, then only once that is completed and up and running, then only it will go to other update domain. So that your application will be highly available.
Ma'am, can you please increase the font size?
Font size.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, okay. So in presentation or in machine you want?
In mission, ma'am.
So do you know the shortcut for that? I'm not sure how to increase that font size for machine. Settings. Do I need to go to settings? I will check. So this is taking more time because I opted for free service. Okay, let me minimize this. We'll check after some time. Because of protocol level, the remote session will be disconnected. Please try connecting to the remote computer again. Okay, let me create one more with paid subscription or something. I have credits, right? So let me create one. So same resource clip I'm using. STL1. Let me create it in Azure. Let's see. Let me go with lightweight. So far, this only free services available. Basic required information missing. Okay. I selected some paid version, right? Okay. So what I will do is it specific availability option. Windows. So free service available only for this. Yeah, evaluation is create. Deployment succeeded. Failure one. These things are only.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can we
Yes,
create
sir.
SSH key to connect it to the any like Git bash in this virtual machines, ma'am?
Yeah, we can use SSH, HTTPS and all. If you want to remote desktop, then you can go with RDP. For this, I did not select any, I think. So while this is in progress, let me check with other resources also, like notification will be there, right? It is in progress. So not only virtual machine, you can create app service also. Like virtual machine is infrastructure as service, right? So once you create virtual machine, you need to take care of everything to deploy your application, right, in that virtual machine. Instead of that, what I want to do is I want to go with platform as service. So if I want to go with platform as service, I need to create app service for that. So here I will go with app service. App service plan is there. App service certificate, web app. This is here. Functional web app. Web service. So I will minimize this. So here I will show how to create this one. So even if I want to create web app, like I need to go with subscription first. After that resource group, like here I want to create a new resource group, test web app. So instance details, my web application name I need to give. So my test app. Secure unique default host name. You can, if you turn it off, it will check for uniqueness. If you turn it on, it will check for default host name, unique or not. If you turn it off, it will take this name. The app name, my test app is not available. So I am going with some 1, 2, 3. This is also not available. So I need to provide some unique name. So if I opted for this, it is giving some unique identifier and all, right? But this is, I don't need that. I want to give some friendly name. Okay, let me go with this. I'm not able to select unique name. So if I am leaving that for portal. So it's taking this. This is the my URL. Like this one appended with this unique identifier, and this is the URL. Or you can go with Azure websites.net, and here you can give some name. But I'm not able to select unique name, so I'm going with this. So publish method is code or container. I will explain what is the containers, how to create container and all, why we need containerization and all in later sessions. For now, I am using code. Like I want to publish code like for this web app. Like from my Visual Studio, I can publish code to this web app. Okay. So here, for example, I am developing my application using .NET 9. So this web app allows this .NET 9. That means it will run on this .NET 9. So earlier when I am creating virtual machine, it's asking for only operating system. There I don't have any runtime stack, .NET, or like these are all the languages supported: Python, PHP, Node, Java, ASP.NET, .NET. So I want to deploy a web application using .NET. So I selected that. An operating system like Linux or Windows, I want to go with Windows. And where you want to host this web application, I can give something like here Canada Central is there. So by default, I am giving that. And here pricing plans, Windows plan. So by default, it has taken that plan, or you can create a new app service plan. So app service plan is something like that is associated with app service. In this app service, you are hosting this web application, right? So for this web application, this is the pricing plan. So like this, you have so many plans. Like I am going with free plan. So this is zero cost and like 60 CPU minutes per day, like this ACU 100 memory. Like this, you have basic, premium, isolated. Like this, you have so many plans. So depending on your plan, your selected plan, your pricing will come actually. So here I am going with free plan. Okay. So this is my pricing plan. So like if you selected more, like here 4 GB, 16 GB RAM, like for my application, if I need 16 GB, then I need to go with this. And this is the cost, $263.97 dollars per month. Like that, depending on the configuration you selected, the billing will be there. So here for now, I am going with free plan. And here I can create some app service plan here. Okay, zone redundant and all, like for all those, I don't need next database. So I don't want database. If I want database, I can create and use, like how to create database servers, how to like use database and all, we'll discuss later. So for now, I'm going with the default options and I can create the app service. So this is still not opening because of free plan. But like this, you can create virtual machine and you are able to configure your virtual machine depending on your requirement. Like this is part of infrastructure as service, this virtual machine comes under. So here I am creating web app. Directly I can host my web app with this. So here app insights, this is for monitoring purpose. I will explain what app insights is, how to monitor your web app and all. So for now, just I am showing how to create some basic web app. So basic, I have missed out something is not available. So try securing this, I selected, right? review plus create. So here validation is passed, estimated price is free, and I am going with create. This is associated with the subscription, and this is the resource group. So all these resources, like it is creating internally to support this web app. Server forms or something. And if I go to home, like here from notification bar, I am able to see that the deployment is succeeded. Go to resource. So this is my web app, and this is the URL depended with, because it should be unique across site, right? So it's created some unique identifier and all. Like here, I can copy this URL or I can click on this URL. I am able to browse. This is the default page that Microsoft provided. So this is the web app. Actually, I created web app and I can browse that web app, but I don't have my code here, right? So like I can create Visual Studio code and Visual Studio web application, and I can deploy that to this web app. Okay. So for example, if I go to Visual Studio, so it will be ready. We will go with other options. Like here in home, like I can go with resource groups, right? It will list all the resources group. This test VM group is the group which we created for our virtual machine. At present, I am not using that virtual machine and I am no more interested for this virtual machine. So if I want to delete this group directly, I can do it from portal, like it is associated with Azure subscription one. Like here, it will show all the resources available in that group. So in this, I did not create all these resources. These will be created by default. Like I have created only my machine, but public IP address, network security group, this testimonial one also I placed in this resource group, right? So it is also listing here. And all these are created. So all these resources, like if I am not using that virtual machine, all these resources I don't need, right? It consumes some resources and some costing. So I don't want this, I want to delete this group. Then you can go with the delete resource group. So it will be deleted, all the resources which is there in that group. So enter resource group name for confirm, here it is. So I will paste same, delete. So it will be deleted all these, deleting resource group. So this is my Visual Studio. Let me create new. So GitHub, Azure, DevOps, these are the source controls. You can directly add your applications to the source control, and from there also you can deploy your application to your Azure. So even if you are not able to understand all this, just leave. First focus on fundamentals, then you will get to know how to do all these things. Okay. So here I am not interested in Azure DevOps and all. I am going with local. This is local Git, right? Existing remote. Oh, sorry, I opened Git repository. So new project. This is still in progress. Deleting resource group. So here I am creating some web application using C#. So here I don't have anything in this web app, just I created one empty web app. Okay, so if I run this web app, then I will get some empty page. So here you can design your web app like depending on your requirement. If you want to go with MVC or something, whatever you want to do, you can do your development here using this. So I configured HTTPS and I don't have some certificate. Typing. This is so here, like you can do whatever development you want to do using this web project, like here in program.cs, add settings, pages. It is normal CSHTML files you have like this, like whatever you want to use, like Angular or MVC or whatever technology you want to use. You can develop your web application here, right? You can build and test application and you are ready with everything. So once you are ready with everything, you want to deploy this web application in your cloud. Okay. So if you want to deploy your web application in cloud, what you have to do is once you are done with your build and testing and everything, so you have an option to publish. So here you can come and click on publish. So when you click on publish, it will ask for some published profile. So here we have Azure, Docker container, web server, which is for on-prem, all this. So I am going with Azure because I want to host this web application or I want to deploy this web application in Azure. So here, where you want to deploy this, like you created one virtual machine, right? Like if you want to manage your own infrastructure, you can go with Azure virtual machine. So these containers and all, I will tell when I am discussing that containerization and all. So you have Azure App Service, right? Like you can create app service for Windows operating system or for Linux operating system. I have chosen this .NET Core project. So .NET Core is platform independent, right? You can deploy your .NET Core application either in Windows or Linux. So now I am going with Windows operating system. So Azure App Service Windows. Publish your application to code to a something with same, like I am going with next. So here where I need to publish. So I have to inform where my app service is, right? So if you have Azure account, you can sign in. Otherwise, you can create an create your Azure account, log in into that Azure account, create app service and deploy. So here I have already account. So I am going with this and I will use my Outlook ID. So here I can go with asking for something. So here resource group got deleted. So if I go to home, resource groups, like that test VM resource group is not there and all the resources within that group is also got deleted. So in this test web app, I am having this app service, test app 1212, which we created, right? So here I want to deploy my Visual Studio application. So if I want to deploy my Visual Studio application to this app service, so first I need to sign in here. So once I sign in, then it will show all the app services available under my subscription. There I need to select that and from there I can go with publishing. But here I am not able to sign in, like it's still not navigating because I'm using 3 account. So from here also you can deploy like that. I will check why I'm not able to sign in from Visual Studio, but this is the way how you can publish your web application to Azure. Okay, you just create one web application and develop whatever you want, go to publish and like here sign in with your credentials and from there you will get that subscription. Like in your wizard only you will get. So from that subscription you will get app services because we selected here app service, right? So in the app service, whatever app service you selected, like here I have one app service, test app 1212, right? So I need to select that test app that will be listed here. So once I click on finish, then whatever code is there that will be deployed to this test app. So once I browse this, whatever code is there, I am able to output that I am able to access with this URL. So now this URL, like I don't have anything, so it is showing default page, which is provided by Microsoft. But I can publish my code and I can see output using this URL. Any questions here? Are you able to get what I am doing? Or shall I
Ma'am,
revise?
ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Ma'am,
Yeah, tell me.
can you tell the workflow, ma'am, which you did from past, which you did here?
For this portal, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Like basic workflow, ma'am.
Okay, sure. Like, actually, I will revise what I did till now.
Okay.
So this is Azure portal. Okay, like if you want to use Azure services or anything related to cloud, you need to go to portal.azure.com. Okay, so once you navigate to this portal.azure.com, then you can sign in with your credentials. Okay. So here I created Outlook credential. So whenever I am creating this or whenever I am signing up for this particular portal, it will ask for credit card details and debit card everything. You need to provide those details for free trial also. Like once you provided those details, they will not charge you anything until you converted your here upgrade option is there, right? Until I upgrade that to paid version, like they will not charge anything. And that subscription, free subscription will be available for 30 days with $200 credit. So once you sign in with that account, okay, so you will get this page, home page. So this is your Azure portal. Okay, here you can create resource groups and all. So here actually what we are doing is internally virtual machine, infrastructure, data centers, everything maintained by Microsoft only, right? You need some kind of interface to interact with that cloud provider, right? This is that interface. So this is the application or like portal where you are able to interact with your cloud provider. So here they come with app services, virtual machine like that. So many resources are there, storage accounts. We are going to discuss 4 resources in our next sessions, but all about this one is resources. So here, if you want to create any resource or anything, you can directly create it from here, create a resource. Like if you want to see your subscriptions, you can do it from here. Like this, you can do anything from here. So if you want to create resource, just click on create resource. Like you can create web app. So you might be confused what is web app and what is app service, right? Each web app is associated with one app service. So in app service, you can place web app, logic app, all these web APIs, everything you can place in app service. So that app service is associated with this one, app service plan. Okay. So app service is associated with app service plan. App service plan is nothing but the configuration, hardware configuration which you are choosing for that. So this web app, logic apps or web APIs, everything you can associate with app service. Okay. So virtual machine is quite different. Virtual machine comes under your IaaS, right? So for that you need to, earlier I showed how to create virtual machine and all, right? Just you can create it with mouse clicks. And once that is created, you are able to log in using RTP, and in that virtual machine, it is something like your machine. You are doing remote desktop to that machine. So, but actually, if you go with free plan, right, that performance will be slow because you are not paying anything. But if you go with production workloads and all, you have to go with the premium or more high-end virtual machine. So once you create that virtual machine, you can operate like your machine, like local machine kind of thing, but that is in cloud. So in that virtual machine, you can install IaaS, you can host your web application, because here also, if you see, here you have that option, manage your own infrastructure. So if I want to create my virtual machine, connect to my virtual machine, then here also I need to sign into my subscription. Once you sign in, it will show that virtual machine list, what is available under my subscription. I can choose virtual machine, and from there I can configure something like that. If you want to maintain your own infrastructure, or like you can create web app here, like by clicks. If I go with create web app, just now I created one web app, right? So everything will be associated with your subscription. And for your subscription, you are going to pay billing and all if you converted it to paid subscription. So for this, under this subscription, you can create one resource group. A resource group means already we discussed it, right? So that web app name, like what you want to do with this web app. I want to deploy code in this web app. So publish code or container. Container we will discuss later, like how to create a Kubernetes container and Azure containers and all. That is a different topic and wide topic. So here I am using code to publish code in this web app. Runtime stack you can use, like, because this is web app, right? So for this web app means like you need some technology to develop that web app. So based on the code base which you are planning to publish, you have to select that corresponding language here. So I am using Visual Studio for my web app, right? So here I can go with Visual Studio. So here .NET 9, .NET 8, like whatever version you are using for development. So same version you can use here, runtime stack and operating system. Like if you are targeting that to Windows, you can do that. And where you want to host this web app, because internally this web app also using some virtual machine, but it is platform as a service. So we are not taking care of that virtual machine, IaaS and all. Everything will be taken care by Microsoft because this is platform service web app. So that's why we are just saying we need Windows. So it will create Windows virtual machine for you and it will host your application in that virtual machine with this .NET framework installed virtual machine. And where that virtual machine will be means you can select depending on your application end users, and that one you can select the region. And this is the pricing plan. So here pricing plan means here you are creating app service plan, right? So this app service plan determines the location features based on the location feature, all these selections you did, right? Depending on that, you can go with some pricing plan. So here I went with free, right? Here you have paid pricing plans also. Depending on pricing plan, they will give that infrastructure to you. Like if you select 4-core CPU, then they will give you one virtual machine with 4-core CPU, .NET 9 installed and in the central Canada region. So there you are able to deploy your web application. Any questions? Are you able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so once you practice, then you will get more knowledge. So like this is for web application, right? For this web application, if I have any database, I can go with the database, and that database also I can create. So whenever I am going with create database, then select a resource group. Okay, here I did not select resource group. So here you can select some resource group or you can create new. So if you want to create database, creating a database require a new app service plan. Like earlier I used existing plan, right? This is resource group. Where is app service plan? Yeah, here I am creating a new app service plan. So here database I am not able to create. What it is saying is only available for basic or higher app service plan. So my app service plan is free. So here I am going with basic. So here you see this memory and all, right? 4 we see. And what is the cost also? $60 for basic. Free is 0, like this. So once you got basic, then you can create database. So SQL database in Azure, or you can go with PostgreSQL, MySQL. So all these databases are supported. So you can go with SQL Azure, and you can give some database server name, database name, so that it will take that database server. It will create that database server. Internally, it will create again virtual machine. It will ask for which SQL server version you want to install. SQL server. Database name. Again, it will check for uniqueness. Database server uniqueness. This database server is available. So name, unique name, it will check for uniqueness. So database. So like this, I can go with continuous deployment setting. Like if you want to, like GitHub you are having, there you have one repository. Okay. You check in your code into that repository. Whenever you check in that code, you want to deploy that here. So auto trigger, you can create auto trigger between your repository and this deployment. You call it a CI/CD pipeline. I'm not sure whether you people are able to get it or not, but actually like Azure DevOps or GitHub, you can create one repository to store your source code, right? There you can do check-ins, checkouts. So once you check in your code, it will trigger deployment here. Like whenever you make changes to your code, no need to go for manual deployment like publish here. Like it will auto trigger that with your GitHub repository. So if I enable that, it will ask for what is your organization, what is your repository, what is your branch and all. So once you give all that information for your source control, then it will, once you check in your code in this branch in that repository, right? Then automatically that code will be deployed here in this. That is automation with your GitHub. That also you can do. So like that, there are so many things like networking. If you want to go with private network, all that you can do. Monitor and secure tags. Finally, you can create that. So once you create this web application, then you are able to browse that. This is the app service it created internally for your web application. So this is your web application, test web app. So this app service having one web app. Okay. So if you want to browse that web app, you can browse. I did not deploy any code, so that's why it is going to default page. Like this deployment slots, deployment center, all these are some topics, advanced topics I will explain later. So this is the way of creating this, and you can try integrating that Visual Studio also. Create one web application. Already, if you gone through that training, how to create web application and all in Visual Studio, just create one simple web application, sign in with your credentials, and it will guide you like that. You will get the what dialog box and all or wizards. You can navigate to that wizards and select appropriate web app what you created. Like if you did not create web app, also it will ask for create one from Visual Studio. Also you can create and you can deploy your web application. Like once you click on finish, your code will be deployed to the web app which you mentioned, and you can browse that here by using this URL. Any questions? Are you able to follow what I am explaining? So if
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
able to, yeah, if you are able to deploy that code here, and if you are able to browse your site, you hosted your web application in cloud. Okay. Any other questions? Like I will stop today's like this session. Like you can ask for any questions, and afternoon you can practice. You will create one Azure account and we'll try all these things. Then you will come to know how to host, how to create, what is subscription, app service, web app, and virtual machines. Okay. So any other questions? So now I am stopping the session for today. Like if you have any doubts or anything, any questions.